Hello and welcome to another edition of Maryland Criminal Defense Today. I'm Marcus Boston, joined in the studio with my wife, Renee Boston.
Hello all.
And today we want to talk really quick about a question that we received, and it was, and we'll have Renee to talk more about this, but the question is, should you request a jury trial on a driving on suspended license?
Most questions that you ask me regarding anything criminal or traffic related, the main answer I'm going to give you is, it depends. Every situation and every client and every courtroom and every judge and every state's attorney is totally different. So a lot of things have to be taken into consideration before you can decide either yes or no, I need to request a trial by jury. And what factors that I look for when I'm in a situation such as that is, number one, the prosecutor that's there in the courtroom. What experience does he or she have? Given that, do they try cases frequently, or because there are a lot of them that don't want to try anything, and you can negotiate with them to work out another disposition as opposed to actually having a trial. So you got to know your prosecutors, and then you go from there. Is your officers present? Does the state have their witnesses lined up? Are they prepared to actually go to trial? And then with the officers, can you talk to the officer? The officer may be willing to say, well, you know what, Ms. Boston, your client was cooperating with me. I don't want to see him or her go to jail or get probation or anything like that. I'll work with you guys on this, or I'll suggest, whatever to the prosecutor. So you also have to know your officer as well, your arresting officer. Another thing people need to keep into consideration is the judge. Some judges consider traffic offenses just as that, just traffic offenses, and they're not a big deal. There are other judges who treat traffic offenses as if it's on the same level as a murder case, and they want to, if someone's found guilty or someone pleads guilty, they want to treat that person to the same standard that they would anybody who is a, quote, convicted person, regardless of what the charges are. So there are some judges who would hold a defendant's feet to the fire on a driving on suspended license the same way they would be if it was a drug charge or a gun charge or anything like that. Okay,
now I know you talked a lot about a lot of the dynamics that go on in the courtroom, the prosecutor, the judge, the officers. What about for the listener who is thinking, well, what about me? You guys are defense attorneys. What about my defense? What about my legal defense to this issue? I know a lot of these other things that you're talking about, but aren't they secondary? Shouldn't we first be focusing on what's my defense? I mean, what is your response to a person like that? I know what I would say, but
I agree. What happens in the courtroom is secondary to the defense that you and your attorney have worked out. But what people really don't realize as far as a driving on suspended license is there's really a couple of elements that the state must meet, and the burden it's still beyond a reasonable doubt, but the burden to get them is pretty low, meaning A, were you driving? B, was your license suspended at the time that you were stopped and you were given a citation? That's it. I mean, if you've since gone back and gotten your license straightened out, that's really not relevant, because at the date and time in question, your license were suspended.
Now, what about for the person who's saying, well, but Mr. Boston, Miss Boston, I didn't know my license was suspended. I mean, I had no idea that they were suspended. Does the state at any time have to make sure that the person has notice and know that they're driving on the suspended license?
Now, the state does do that, and what they'll do is they'll pull a copy of the person's driving record and bring it to court on the morning of trial or the day of trial. But what that person can do as well for themselves is pull their own driving record, and it'll tell them whether or not the MBA sent notice to them that their license were suspended for whatever reason. So, and remember, people, it's not up to the MBA to chase you all over the state of Maryland or into DC or wherever to give you notice that your license has been suspended. If you move and don't alert them of your change of address, that's all they really can do.
And I want to cut in really quick because that's a big issue. And I know, we do DUIs and we do other types of cases. Of course, we handle traffic cases, but just as well as I do, that a lot of times people are driving around and they have not updated their driver's license. They have not updated their information with the MVA, and that's their fault, because you have to keep your license, your address, and your information updated with the MVA. And if they send notice to the address that you have on file and you've moved, or if you went you live somewhere else, is that still the responsibility of the driver to keep that information fresh and updated?
Definitely. And no judge is going to blame the MVA for you not updating your driver's license with them. So if your address is not updated and notice was sent to the previous address and nothing comes back to the MVA, how are they to know that you never received the notice that your license was suspended? And
that's a really good point. Well, there you go. There you have it. This is a very short podcast today. But stay out and stay on the lookout, because we do these a lot. And if you want more information like what you just heard, you can visit our website, which is Maryland DUI Criminal Defense Attorneys, and the website is mdcriminaldefense.wordpress.com. That's mdcriminaldefense.wordpress.com. We have articles that are there that deal with criminal defense matters, DUI matters, traffic matters, and things of that nature. Our podcasts, which you're listening to right now, are also at that website address. So, and you can also go ahead, Renee, because I see you want to.
And I'm going to just chime in real quick. Nobody in their right mind is going to remember that web address. So you can also Google MD Criminal Defense WordPress, and just Google it. Put all that in Google and search engine, and the website will come up.
Okay. Yep. And that is right. And if you don't want to go that route, or you're a phone call person, you can give us a phone call at 301-850-4832. That's 301-850-4832. Or, of course, you can send us an email. Go ahead, Renee.
At info at bostonlawllc.com. Again, that's info at bostonlawllc.com.
And thank you for listening to our podcast today, Maryland Criminal Defense Today. I'm Marcus Boston.
And I'm Renee Boston.
And we will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.